Right, we 60 seconds out.
Everyone has a unique gift, and Mike, the creator of the 1NELife podcast, believes most people don't know how to use their gifts or what they are. Mike wants you to see things from a different perspective and be true to yourself. The 1NELife podcast unites the world through art, fashion, music, and film. It inspires, motivates, and creates positive energy, love, and compassion to all communities, and creates an equal playing field for all. On the 1NELife podcast, they cover topics like building relationships, overcoming adversity, habits of healthy people, and much, much more. We only have one life to live. Be yourself and live your truth. Add the 1NELife podcast to your playlist. That's the number 1 1NELife. Available on Spotify, Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, and your favorite podcast platform.
What's up, y'all? Welcome to the 1NELife podcast. I am Mike MIC Reed, and as always, I got my co-host Diana Gotti from the AV Wellbeing Coalition, doing it the Gotti way.
What up?
That was
so
a pause. You okay?
I'm okay.
I know it's a busy weekend.
Yeah, I think I'm struggling, but I'm struggling well.
You're struggling well, exactly.
I am definitely struggling well.
Yes.
Yeah, so we're going to be all right.
Anyways, we have a special guest with us today, Andrea Alarcon. Did I say that right?
Alarcon.
Alarcon or Alarcon.
Alarcon, okay. I'm horrible with names.
Mm-hmm.
We all know this.
I always say, my name is Andrea, just don't call me Andrew.
There you go.
It's
Andrew?
Andrea.
People call you Andrew?
I mean, they call me a lot of things, but just not Andrew, please.
Anyways, Mayor Pro Temp from the city of Palmdale.
Yeah.
How you doing today?
Doing well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It's a privilege
Are you a
to be
little nervous?
here. Excuse
Are
me?
you a little nervous?
No.
Of course
I'm
not.
good.
You're a professional at
I'm
this.
good.
Yeah.
No. Why be nervous?
I don't know. No, because a lot of people come here and
conversation
they get nervous. I don't know why.
Yeah.
It's just a conversation.
That's what we always say. It's just a conversation. What's up? What's going on?
What's going on? Yeah. So anyway, before we get started and jump into this conversation,
Yes.
let's talk about the community events that's going on this weekend.
Oh,
because
my
I'm
goodness.
excited.
Yeah.
So last week at the Palmdale Playhouse, which shout out to Michelle Lee because she is doing a phenomenal job, and she gave us tickets to the event last week. I forgot what it was called. Bad with names, I told you.
Hello.
But Sean Hill was there, the poet was there, Ashley Kahn was there doing her thing, painting, and she did a live painting too.
I saw
Yeah,
that.
she did a live painting while he was doing
saw
poetry.
that.
It was so dope.
Oh,
It
man.
was amazing, yeah. And it was a full house.
Yeah. Oh,
So,
that's good.
Yeah, it was great.
I'm
It was
so
great.
excited.
I really enjoyed it. And then tomorrow we have the This Ain't Your Daddy's Big Band concert tomorrow.
I know you're excited about
I'm excited
that.
about that, yes.
Yeah.
I'm really excited about it.
Well,
What you got going on?
So I want to encourage everyone to come out to the Welcome Home Vietnam Veterans happening tomorrow, March 18th, presented by the Antelope Valley Boots on the Ground Alliance. Ceremony starts at, the convoy escort starts at 8:30 a.m. Check-in ceremony starts at 10 a.m. and it's going down at Ponceland Square. I always get so screwed up with the pronunciation of it. And I also want to encourage everyone to apply for the Next CAP program for the certification in applied positive psychology. You can always reach out to Ms. Nardi Lopez at nlopez@citypalmdale.org, or you can give her a call at area code 661-267-5177. And also the women's, oh my goodness, symposium, yes, hello, celebrating her story, happening also Saturday, March 18, 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And it is located at Legacy Commons, 930 East Avenue Q, 9 Palmdale. So there's so much going on. And also, last but not least, this is a scholarship fundraiser of Sip and Paint, and it's happening Thursday, April 13th. And let's see here, where is it? I would say reach out to Ms. Jacqueline with the You Are Enough Foundation, the Eric Garcia. They're raising money for scholarships. So that's happening for Thursday, April the 13th. So I definitely encourage everyone for that.
Is that a Thief and Barrel?
You know what? It's funny because I'm looking at it. Oh, yeah, the Color of Wine Avenue. That's what it's called. Yeah. And I do have an address. The address is actually 45074 10th Street West, and it is Suite 101B in Lancaster.
Oh, that's not Thief and Barrel.
That's not it.
No,
I
that's
think
not
this
Thief and
is a new location that just opened.
Okay. Oh, that's okay. I know what it is. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And it's $40 and not too bad for sip and paint.
No, somebody was
Get
just
there,
telling me
babe.
yesterday they want to do a sip and paint.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Well, you have that. I kind of saw that, and I thought that we should definitely be encouraging people to come out for that. It's a
Absolutely.
great organization, and not only that, but being able to give scholarships to students. Let's keep them motivated. Let's keep them thriving, right?
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. So can I just underscore
Of
the
course,
Women's
please.
Symposium? We're so
Yeah.
excited. This is our second annual Women's Symposium. So far, we've got 160 reservations.
Oh,
But you don't
wow.
have to register in advance. You can show up tomorrow. So
Correct.
we're encouraging folks, both men and women and children,
Yeah.
to come and participate in all of the activities. It's going to be an exciting day.
Oh,
Yeah, one of my friends, Miss Sylvia Gardner, is going to be one of the special guests, and she's phenomenal. So hopefully I can kind of sneak away and check it out. I want to say she's going to go on at about 11:30 or 1. I can't recall, but definitely worth coming out and checking out.
sounds good. I'm just looking at you right now because I know how busy you are right now,
Yeah.
and like your mind is going 100 miles
It
an
really
hour.
is. My mind and my hands.
Anyways, let's get into it.
Yes.
So, anyways, I was just talking to Andrea. Oh my God! See,
Just not Andrew.
You-
See, I told you.
you know, but see, I had your name right, but see, you messed me up because you said don't say this.
No, it's
Now you got me overthinking it. Andrea.
Yeah.
We're just having a conversation before you got in on why, we kind of do this show, because it's all about you today. Like, we're not talking about politics or nothing. We're just talking about you because I really feel like, when people get to know someone, especially like a public figure or, a business owner, they get to know them, then it's just a different conversation. Like,
Right.
because we're quick to judge people, right? When we see someone, whether we like them or not, we're quick to judge them. But if you just take a second and get to know someone and you'll have a better understanding of them and where they're coming from. And now it's a different conversation.
Yeah, different perspective.
Right.
So I'm actually excited to have you here today.
And I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
No, so I was actually on your LinkedIn page. We're LinkedIn friends, by the way.
Hey.
You've been in public service for a long, long time.
For a very long time.
And I
Since
did-
as long as I can remember.
And I didn't know you was an attorney as well.
I am.
Wow.
I'm a civil rights attorney. My focus is on voting rights. So
Okay.
I defend the California Voting Rights Act for a living.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
so see, I don't want to talk about politics, but you're going to force me. So I actually, because I want to ask you this, because you're into that. Explain to me the electoral votes.
Electoral College?
Yeah, that. Thank you. See, I don't even know the correct name of it.
Hello.
Because I hear different stories. A lot of people like it, a lot of people don't. I personally don't like it because when they say, and this is the only thing we're going to talk about politics, but when they say every vote counts, like, does that apply to that? Because I don't see it, or maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah, so we don't need to delve into the details about the Electoral College, but really it's an allocated number of votes per state
Right.
that doesn't necessarily reflect the popular vote.
Right.
So that's where people, have differing opinions on whether or not it's a good or a bad thing.
Yeah.
Based on the past presidential elections, the last two, there have been concerns that the electoral vote that is cast in the House is not reflective of the votes actually cast by the people in
Right.
the population. So that's why there's been recent conversation about it, but still to be determined. It's all set forth in our governing documents, the Constitution, and so if we want to change that, it's going to take a heavy lift.
Yeah.
And I don't know that there's the political energy to do that right now.
Right.
Right.
We're
That's
not gonna talk
fair.
about it. No, that's fair. I appreciate that.
Short and
So,
sweet.
let's get into you. Like, so you've been in public service for a long time. What made you go that route?
Yeah.
It really wasn't a matter of public office. It was just about helping out in the community. So when I was a little girl, I used to put together Thanksgiving baskets for needy families and do home visits to determine whether or not they were eligible for Christmas baskets with gifts and trees and so forth. It was just wanting to help, walking around doing graffiti cleanups and trash pickups alongside my dad. Just wanted to help, and it was far more rewarding for me. I just loved being out there,
Yeah.
seeing smiles on people's faces, cleaning up the community, knowing that I helped paint over that graffiti and I helped clean up that park. It was really rewarding.
At what age did you start this?
Oh man, I think probably maybe 5, 6, 7, 8. I was very young.
Oh my God.
Yeah, my dad's been involved in community and politics
Okay.
forever. So I used to just tag along with him. I'm one of 5 kids,
Okay.
and I was the only one that wanted to hang out with Pops, doing all the community service stuff. One of my brothers is in entertainment, another's in law enforcement, another one is a musician. So they all went their own routes.
Yeah.
But I sort of followed my father's footsteps, and because I just fell in love with community service.
I like that.
No, it is. And even in like entertainment, like your brother, one of your brothers, I mean, it's still helping people because we all, rely on music. Music is so healing.
It's so therapeutic.
Right,
It's a necessity in life for me. I mean, on the way here, I was listening to, this is a little sort of, it's what I listen to anytime I walk into court or into anything, in my council meetings even. I listen to Glory by John Legend.
Okay.
Common.
Hey.
Just sort of to sort of frame my mindset. Why am I here? What am I doing?
Yeah.
The fight still continues, and just sort of get me in the right mind space before I walk into something.
I like that.
Yeah.
So
I
do
can
you
agree.
have a well, I call it a morning routine because I have a morning routine that I do every morning. Do you have that going into your meetings? And
I do. So, well, when I get the chance to.
right.
now sometimes my calendar's a little jammed. So, I have a lot of events at night and I'm exhausted in the morning. But typically I wake up pretty early. I wake up at about 5 in the morning. I go to the gym. I run. I love to run every morning.
I'm getting there.
Running for me is my therapy. It's sort of
Okay.
my stress relief. So I run for about 20 minutes a day. And then I, do a little bit of workout and sit in the sauna, calm my mind. And then I come back, have, my coffee and jump into it.
See, I'm up at 5:30 every morning, even on the weekends. Like no matter what, I'm up at 5:30. But on the weekends, I don't get out of bed, but I'm still up because your body just is so used to it. And I've lost my gym, like because I used to go in the gym like about 6 in the morning. I used to do CrossFit at 6 a.m. But now I'm so busy with work. But I found like for me at 6 o'clock in the morning, if I can jump on this computer and go through all my emails and like I can knock out a lot of stuff because everybody else is asleep. Like,
That's true.
without no
Exactly.
distractions, like I can get a lot of business stuff done. Because I'm up late sometimes because obviously I'm still in entertainment. So, I'm up to like midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. But then I'm back up at 5:30.
Right. You need your sleep, but you also need the morning time to sort of get your mind right,
Yeah.
before you walk into your day.
And it's not hectic. Like during the day, everything is like today, right? Like I'm rushing, right? But in the morning time, between 5:30 in the morning and I want to say 7:30, those 2 hours, it's so calm. Like I'm always listening to my gospel music or my meditation music. Everything's so peaceful and calm to where it's not rushing through nothing. It's just getting things done at a nice little flow. And I can operate like that.
Now, as soon as my alarm goes off, it's like the kid's here, the kid's there, gotta go, gotta do this, gotta. However, I actually went back to the gym finally.
Hey.
It's been a long time coming. Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah, no, and it actually feels good. When we were in Los Angeles, that actually was my routine. I would drop the kids off, go to the gym, and I would do it twice a day in the morning and at night as a family. And we actually started doing that again. So I go by myself, and that's actually been my alone time because we've been talking a lot about that. As a stay-at-home mom and an entrepreneur, and amongst other things, I wasn't creating this space for me and the time. So now that I go to the gym, I'm just like, you know what? This is me. And I just jam out and I, do a little bit on the treadmill. But when I'm really like focusing now on working out, I'm feeling it. I'm feeling myself again, and just really pushing myself to that limit, but loving myself for it.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Self-care is so
Absolutely.
important. It's hard when you have kids.
Yeah.
I'm only able to have this
Yeah.
routine with, the morning at the gym because my daughter's older and in college. When she was younger, absolutely not. There was
Yeah.
no time or space for
Yeah.
the gym.
Well, I have 2 teens. I have a junior high and a high school girl. They need me for everything.
God bless you. Yes.
No, and she's right. Like once they get out of the school, then you'll have more time, and you'll be like, okay, I can start doing things.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you got to take care of you.
It's
It's like when you're in the airplane, you got to put the mask on.
Yeah.
You before
Yeah.
you take care of everybody else.
Yeah.
You're better as a mom all the way around, as a friend, as a colleague. Take care of you first.
Yeah, and I mean, it's, I guess, the guilt did come in because ever since the age of 17, I was working. Up until just recently, the last 3 years, I've been a stay-at-home mom. However, it was challenging at first to say that, but now in reality, it's a privilege. I'm able to really get involved with my kids, and just be in the know and be supportive of everything it is that they do. And not only that, but do what I'm passionate about. I actually have the time when we do our workshops, with the kids or with the schools. I'm available, and I'm really thankful for that, because before I couldn't. We were in surgery 4:30 in the morning, and it's like, go, go, go. And I had to sleep by 7 p.m., just to be up and alert and aware. Especially in the medical field, you have to be present. There is no room for errors.
Right.
So,
That's a blessing that you're able to be able to spend time with your kids now.
Exactly.
And put your heart where it should be, where you love the community work.
Right. Well, I guess Antelope Valley allows that, because when we were in Los Angeles, there's no way that was going to happen. It's expensive. It's really expensive to live in Los Angeles.
It is.
Yeah. Not only that, but the lifestyle, keeping up with the Joneses, There's always something to do, right?
It's definitely one of the benefits of living in the AV.
Yeah.
I mean, housing prices are reasonable in a way that they just aren't.
Right.
And, down below. So we want to capitalize that. I think one of the things we're doing at the city is trying to create additional housing options. So there's a lot of single family homes available, but there aren't very many options. So in terms of multifamily or condos or duplexes and that kind of thing, for people in all different socioeconomic ranges.
Yeah.
So we want to be able to provide, those types of resources for folks, so they don't necessarily have to choose between, something incredibly small or one household that really puts them at the limits of their budget.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that happening. At Far East Palmdale, I see that there's a lot of construction, especially over by Knight High School. It seems like they're having a lot of housing there, and that's kind of, exciting that, I guess owning a home, it's really a privilege. It's a goal, and not a lot of people really get to fulfill that in life.
It's part of the American dream.
Right.
Right? I mean, the white picket fence is sort of what everybody thinks in terms of the American dream: a job, being able to provide for your kids, and have a home that you own, and your property that you can, make it the pride of your life.
It's so true, because when we go to Los Angeles, sometimes, I guess now when we drive by and it's so congested with so many apartments, you're just like, man, these people just live crowded with just a lot of people around them. And will they ever get to experience what it's like to be in a home?
Right. And no equity, right? If you're in an apartment, you're just paying rent, and there's no equity. You're not building any financial stability for yourself long term.
No, and so because I grew up in a home, right? So that's why I've always, I'm not gonna say always, because in my early 20s and 30s, I did, rent apartments. But I bought my first home in Santa Clarita, I'll say almost 20 years ago, and it's not that difficult. I think people aren't educated either on home buying, because it's really not that difficult to own a home, right? It's cheaper. Like my mortgage is way cheaper than a lot of people's rent.
It's the fear.
And I have equity,
that is
right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Like people don't realize that. Like it is, like for me, like you got to do what you got to do to get the home, because it's cheaper, and the value in it is so much more, because you're throwing away a lot of money when you're renting.
100%. So
Like
one of the things
so
I want to
much
do
money.
to that exact point is to establish some workshops throughout the city on financial literacy and financial management, so that people can understand the difference between paying $3,000 a month in rent for a single family home versus $1,500 in a mortgage payment. But you're building equity.
Yes.
But also for the younger folks in high school, what is a checking and a savings account, and what are credit cards really? What is an interest rate? How do you save money? All of the sort of basic tenets of financial management that kids don't often get, and we really should pay attention and focus and educate them on how to build up that that wealth.
No, absolutely. Even with buying a home, right? Because most people, I think they do like what they do in business, right? They wait for the perfect moment. Well, I'm waiting for it to save up enough money to get the perfect home, right? And it's like, no, just go. I tell people all the time, just go buy a house. I don't care where it is, because in a year or two, you're gonna have equity. Then you take that money, then you go buy the house you want. Yeah. You don't have to. You're not stuck in that one house.
Yeah, I hear so many times people are waiting for the market to go up.
Yeah,
or
it's
down.
like,
I'm
no.
like, well, I mean, unless you're a financial forecaster, it's almost impossible to find the perfect time.
Yeah, it is. And that's why I tell people, just get in, because in a few years, you're going to have equity. Take that equity. Now go buy your dream home. But at least you're building up equity as you're waiting, you know.
Yeah. Did you grow up here in the Antelope Valley, Andrea?
I didn't. I grew up in San Fernando Valley.
Oh, okay.
So I'm a relative newbie to the Antelope Valley, but there are a lot of similarities when I was growing up to the San Fernando Valley and the Antelope Valley now, because this is a booming area.
Yeah.
And when I was growing up in the San Fernando Valley, it was then booming. It's now expanded to sort of
overcapacity,
a place of unmanageability, which is why I'm here, and I'm happy to be here. I'm a proud Antelope Valley resident. Yeah. But when I moved here, I just looked around and I saw so much possibility for investment and growth, and I just figured, because I have so many experiences and the relationships and so forth, I thought maybe I can help. So I threw my hat in the ring, and thankfully the voters in my district, believed in what I was offering, and hopefully in the next 4 years I'll be able to deliver on a lot of those promises.
Well, I think, I mean, I'm new too. I've just been out here for 4 years. I think 4 years, and I had to make a decision a couple of years ago if I was going to sell and go back down the hill. But I've decided to stay, and I'm looking at the growth as well, because my family's in real estate. And I'm actually in the middle of getting my commercial license, because I want to, thank you, because I want to jump back into that, because I actually been dabbling in real estate for like 15 years, but without a license, just kind of in and out. So I know about it, and I know about the market, and I know like our demographics out here, we're this close to reaching that that number that the big retailers are going to come out here. They just waiting for that number, and I know we're so close. And that's why you haven't seen like the big retailers out here yet, because of the demographic.
They base their investments on rooftops,
right,
and consumers and household numbers.
So they're waiting, and like I think the number is 75, and I think we're at like 68 or something like that.
Okay.
And, so we're right there. And as soon as they hit that 75, you're going to start seeing all the big retailers come out here. And that's when everything is going to really expand.
Oh, I can't
That's
wait.
why I'm trying to get into commercial now, because I want a piece of that.
Yeah, and we're doing a lot of things too. Long-term planning. So we're looking at some big transportation projects like Brightline and Palmdale connector, to potentially connect folks down to not just LA, but to Las Vegas. Which would be huge in terms of economic opportunity.
Right.
There are a lot of infrastructure projects that we're considering and working on, that we can not only create jobs but create the economic boom for Palmdale and for the Antelope Valley. One of which we mentioned, and I think you both were at the grand opening of the Palmdale Film Stage.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
It's an incredible opportunity.
I'm excited about that one.
Yeah, I call it like a little local stimulus plan, because it's not just the production on site at that film stage. It's the catering, and those folks are going to the gas station and filling their tanks there. They're shopping locally. They're eating at the local restaurants. So I feel like there's a lot of synergy, a lot of possibilities there.
Oh yeah, I think once that takes off, that's going to be great for this community. 'Cause even like when I first moved out here, I've met a lot of people, and I've seen so much talent out here, but they don't have the means or the know-hows to get to LA and make it happen, right? Like I was born and raised in the industry, so I kind of like kind of given to me.
Yeah.
But a lot of people out here, I've seen so much talent, but they missing that one piece.
Yeah.
And so if we can bring that element out here, then it's in their backyard, and that's like now they have no excuses.
Yeah.
Like the Ashley Cons, she's incredible. Right?
Yeah.
She actually just got her painting at the
Capitol.
Capitol. So, I mean, there's a lot of talent out here.
Yeah, I want to
great.
tap into that talent. So I suggested in light of the development of the film stage, I suggested we create a film commission. And we tap into the local folks like you guys who have industry connections, who have ideas on how we can market our film stage and reach out to those networks that you already have. We've got so many people here that, like you, have made their living driving back and forth to Burbank or to Hollywood, the other centers of the LA film industry. But we've got it here, so we should tap into that, and we should access
Develop it.
right. So if you guys are interested, we'd love to have you guys on that commission.
100%, because I'm still driving to Burbank every day. I was there this morning at 6 a.m.
Oh,
You know, it's like, I wish I don't have to, but, you know, it's one of those things where I kind of have to stay, like, even though I'm kind of semi-retired from it, but I still go out there because you just never know. Like, I'm picky about my projects now.
Yeah.
Like, everything for me, I'm at a point now in my career where if my project isn't giving back or helping someone, like, I don't do it for money no more. It's all about giving back and helping. Like, if it don't have some type of meaning or purpose, then I don't want to do it.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. So, but I like out here, like, to help grow that type of community out here that's a purpose. Like, I would love to be a part of that.
Yeah, that's exciting. I mean, we moved here in 91 when half of this city didn't exist. So to come back, we moved back in 2018, I think, December. I actually was impressed. I said, okay. I said, I see the potential. And I mean, the truth is we were on our way out to Texas. We were supposed to be here only for 6 months, and then COVID hit. And then now we're proud owners of our first home.
Congratulations.
And it happened. Yeah, you know.
And you're making a huge impact in the community now.
Yeah.
You're everywhere.
Honestly, everything has, I think everything happens for a reason. To be completely and 110% honest, when in high school, I was part of a lot of programs in school. And the biggest thing that stayed with me was the mock trial. So my coach was actually RX Paris. So we were part of his first, kind of group. And this was 2002. So this was way before a lot of things happened, and what was the biggest takeaway from that is that we were in his office and he allowed us to feel like we were actual attorneys. Like we belonged. We ate there. We spent so much time there, and just really allowed us to develop as individuals and public speak. And I'm actually very thankful that he invested all of that in us. And I think that that's the reason why I do what I do. So when I was at home, I would tell my husband about this experience, tell my kids all about it. And I used to tell my husband, if I ever go back, I really want to give back to the schools. I really want to give back to the kids, because I know how impactful that was in my life. And because of the CAP program, I say I'm doing what I love, and that's giving back and utilizing my strengths and I guess my communication skills and getting into the schools and seeing these kids and just giving them some tools for their toolbox is so rewarding to me. And I'm just so excited for that. And I think that's why when we had that conversation, I was like, what are we going to do for the kids? Like, we need to have like more things for social, because we're social creatures. And I know that there's the business aspect and all of that, but what about the mental health? Like as far as that, growing up, we had the skating ring, we had the hammock center, we had all this like fun things to look forward to, but now the kids really don't.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
A lot of our kids are just staying home and they're gaming and spending most of their time on screen time, right?
Yeah.
So we've got to get them out, being active. One of the most jarring statistics that I just recently learned was that the obesity rate in our city amongst our youth is at 41%, which is 13% higher than the rest of LA County.
Yeah.
That's a problem. We've got to create opportunities for our kids to get out and be active physically. So yes, we're looking into all kinds of recreational activities for them. I'm so glad to hear. I didn't know that that you participated in that mock trial program, but congratulations. It clearly worked wonders on you, and you are now making an incredible difference in our community. It sort of resembles something of what I want to do, and I'm actually developing right now a CD5, Council District 5 Future Leaders Program for our kids, so that we can create a curriculum to talk to them about community service and how they can be involved in local governance and how it works. Actually take them to city council chambers, let them create sort of a mock city council meeting, and they can sit as council members and just make decisions on, you know, issues that would impact them, so that they can get an understanding on how they could participate locally and how they could change the trajectory of their own futures.
I like that.
Oh, I do too.
So
that
I want
is
you,
definitely up my
so if you
my
wanna,
avenue.
We'll have you come out.
I love that.
Yeah, because I'm also part of a leadership program that we do with a group of kids, and actually we're so thankful for the Ventura Foundation. They were awarded a grant, and Miss Vicky Ventura approached me and was like, you know, I would love for you to be a part of this. And this past Wednesday, I actually led the class by myself, and we were talking about character strengths and being able to identify that in each other. And it was just so, I guess, in all awe how some of the kids have never heard of all 24 of the character strengths, and we speak about it a lot, and even as adults, we don't know how to utilize that, especially being a public figure. How can you identify that with each other, with your board? Are we overutilizing, underutilizing? But as leaders, we should be, learning these tools, or I should say as our youth, or future leaders. So I'm really excited for that program, because
we would love to have you come out and participate in the curriculum.
Yay.
Maybe you can, help coordinate the mock city council meeting, given your experience with the mock trial and the way you were able to benefit from it. You can share your story so that these kids really absorb and take it all in.
That's a great idea.
I mean, the most interesting part is actually I graduated from the continuation high school here, from RX Paris High. And it wasn't because I was dumb. It wasn't because, we lacked as far as education. I just learned different. And there was other things happening in my life. But some of those kids have that stigma, but I always tell people that's not true. I graduated as class president. I got awarded a 2-year scholarship from RX Paris, and it gave me that motivation, I can actually do this. And I did graduate from a continuation high school.
Congratulations. And there's no judgment in any of it.
Not at
Everybody
all.
has their own path.
Yeah.
Not everybody needs
I
to
did too.
follow.
I did too. I graduated from Westchester High School, continuation school, but that's because I'm fast at what I do. So to go through like a whole book in a whole school year was too slow for me.
Yeah.
So I went through it in a semester. And they was like, oh, you need to be what they called it home study, where I did everything at home, and I met every Tuesday. Like I went to class every Tuesday just to turn in my stuff and then get more curriculums back. Then I would go home and do it on my own pace.
Yeah, one size does not fit all with regards to education or anything really. So, some people are auditory learners, some people are visual learners, some people are slow learners, some people are fast.
Yeah.
I mean, we've got to create tracks for everybody.
Yeah.
I agree.
I'm really excited, I think that's why I was looking so forward to this conversation, with you and with someone from the city of Palmdale, because I feel we should be a little bit focusing more on our kids, because that is our future. That is our future, presidents or medical or police officers, whatever you may it be,
On the campaign trail is wonderful, articulate young 16-year-old girl came up to me and she said, "Oh my God, I'm so glad. Are you the woman on those signs?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "And you're running for city council?" I said, "Yes." She said, "Oh my goodness, you've given me hope that one day when I turn 18, I could run for city council too." And that brought me almost to tears. And I said, "You know what? It's 2 years away, but if you choose to run, you should run, and you got my support." Yeah. It's about handing the baton, opening doors of opportunity to, again, the next generation of leaders, and just that she was seeing herself in me and seeing the possibility. You can't be what you can't want to be what you can't see.
That's right.
And she saw it, and we're living it now, and she's wanting to run and wanting to participate. And she participates in campaign activities now and community service organizations. She's an amazing individual and again, another future leader. So
it's amazing.
Yeah.
Hey, so you know this little girl? Do you keep in contact with her? That's great.
I told you, I'm a woman of my word. I'm a very loyal person. I told her if she decides to run, she's got my support.
That's great.
Yeah. But I mean, I think we should be doing that, a lot more. We should be doing a lot of mentoring, not keeping it to yourself, not holding all the knowledge that we have, the experience. We are bucks. We should be, allowing people to just kind of read, find out what it is. It might not fit you now, but you don't know down the road or in the future. So that's why I think when I leave some of the workshops, I leave so inspired, by how hungry they are, or I think they lack in hope, especially after COVID. A lot of these kids were in a languishing state where they're just kind of blah, and just giving them that jolt of joy, like, absolutely you can. What makes you think you can't?
There's a world of opportunity out there, and we've just got to excite them and show them.
Yeah.
Like when I first came out here, I was still working on this kids show called Hip Hop Harry that I was working on. I've been working on for like 18, almost 20 years now. And I did 2 shows out here for AVPH? Antelope Valley something. The AVPH, the resource center out here in Lancaster. And I did 2 shows for them, one at their carnival and somewhere else. But I've always wanted to do more shows like that, but I wanted to take that show into the schools because it had a great message. Like one of his songs is called Words Have Power, right? And for me, being on, and I've worked with kids like all my life since I was 12 years old. And for me, it's kind of like tricking kids, right? Like we're teaching them how to dance and sing along with these songs, and they don't understand that they're getting a message to it. It's not like your regular like hip hop songs. Like these songs really have a message, and they're having fun, and it's like it really has a message. And I wanted to take it to the schools, but it's just so much red tape. Like
always red tape. We got to cut the red tape.
No, I know that's what I'm saying.
We cut
like,
the red tape. We just go directly to our kids.
And Diana,
they're like sponges. They want it. We just got to be able to provide it.
Well, right. That's what I mean. Like, because, kids, they go to these lectures, what I call them lectures. Like, they have these assemblies, right? But, lecture, these kids, they're not listening to that. It's going in one ear and out the other, right? So you kind of got to, like I said, trick them and, getting these messages.
Not even trick. It's speaking their language.
Yeah.
Be part of their culture.
Oh, yeah.
And let them engage. I think when I just get talked at, it's like in one ear, out the other. It's when we have a conversation that's 2-way or 3-way and you're engaging, then I'm really participating. Then I'm really absorbing, what's the message being relayed. One of the programs that I was so delighted to see in terms of the arts and kids and the message was Justice Sunday. We saw the kids come together. I think it was their 21st year of the program, and they performed at the Palmdale Playhouse. But these kids came together over the winter break. They gave up their own holiday time to learn about racial equity and social justice, and they developed they wrote their own play, wrote the lyrics to these songs, and they performed this beautiful play about the history of racial justice in music. It was an amazing performance. But those are the types of programs that engage kids, but also have a message and give them something positive to do. Give them, something to relate to. With it was like I think over 50 kids that participated in the program.
Nice.
Beautiful program. So those are the types of exciting things that I think we should expand on.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of kids, let's go back to your childhood. Because we're trying to get to know you.
Yeah.
At what point was it? At what age was you at when you decided to go into the field that you're in?
At what age? I don't know if there was any given age. It's just sort of been inherent in who I am and what I love to do. So I've always just sort of been driven to wanting to help. I always say that if you love what you do, you're going to be good, if not great at it. And I love giving back. I love helping. if there is a way that I can, build up a community or build up one person, I will. My college admissions essay there was one quote at the top by Margaret Mead. Never doubt that a group of thoughtful individuals can make a difference. Indeed, it's the only thing that ever has. It sort of that and all kinds of si se puede and yes you can. The mantra of we can do it. If there's a will, there's a way. So that's sort of my ultimate mind. So I don't know if there was any particular moment in time in my life where I said, this is what I want to do, because I've just been driven to it. But my life has it hasn't been a straight road. It's been a bumpy road at times. I had my daughter right out of college, and I was supposed to go to law school immediately after undergrad, but I didn't because I wanted to raise her. So I took 5 years off. I didn't know that I was ever going to go back to school. And then I was thankfully encouraged and in a position where I could. But even when I was in law school my first year, because I was a single mom, my law school told me, no, well, you can't have a full-time job and be a full-time law student. It's against ABA recommendations. And I said, well, that's interesting. Who's going to put food on the table and who's going to provide for my daughter? I said that if I'm making the grade, then I should be able to pursue my education. And despite the recommendations, my life is sort of a defying odds at every step of the way. So I just said, okay, well, if that's your position, then expel me. And they didn't. And thankfully, I was able to graduate. But I had a 5-year-old when I started law school. Wow. And so she was a baby, and I was doing taking her to. I had to wait those 5 years specifically because I wanted to make sure that there was an all-day after-school care program for her, because I couldn't afford childcare because childcare is too expensive.
Right.
I mean, it's
like an arm and a leg.
astronomical. So I had to sort of plan it in order to get there. But again, if there's a will, there's a way, and if you really want to make it happen, you can.
Right. So you fought through all your adversities.
Wow.
Was that your biggest adversity you think you went through, or?
Being a single mom, this was like, there's a lot of challenges there. One of the most difficult times in my life dates back to when I was 8 years old. My brother was in a car accident with my grandmother. I was living with her at the time. I was, like I said, I was one of 5 kids, but my parents they were both full-time working, and they were managing the other kids. So me and my brother would stay with my great-grandmother. And they got into a car accident. A drunk driver hit them head-on while they were in an intersection. My grandmother died instantly on scene, but my brother had to be heliported to Children's Hospital of LA, and 2 days later passed away. So that experience was life-changing. And it's still something that we as a family contend with and try to manage. But we've tried to make the positive out of it. So, for instance, when that accident occurred, there were no pediatric trauma care facilities available in the San Fernando Valley. The accident was in North Hollywood. And so he had to be heliported from the scene to Children's Hospital of LA. The time it took exceeded what's called the golden hour. The golden hour is whenever there is trauma, if you get a medical care within that immediate hour after the trauma, your likelihood of survival is exponentially greater, right? So he didn't get because he had to be heliported. He didn't get medical attention they needed as soon as he could. So that they say that they thought he could have probably survived had it not been for the lack of medical care in that area. Fast forward, there was an effort. My father was very helpful in introducing legislation to tack on a very small fee to our vehicle registrations that then created statewide fund for the establishment of pediatric trauma care centers. And so there was one opened in Northridge, which would have served the North Hollywood area. And now one of my primary focuses is to establish one in the Antelope Valley. The Antelope Valley doesn't have a pediatric trauma care center. So any kid that gets in a car accident or falls and has any sort of a brain trauma has to be, by necessity, heliported out. And because of our geography, because we're so far away, the time it would take essentially puts them outside of that golden hour. So I think that that's unacceptable. And so I want to do all that I can to bring some of that pediatric trauma care fund money to the Antelope Valley so we can open a facility here.
Now, see, you would think, because I would think that they already had something like that in place because where we are, like, because so for them to even get a helicopter out here and then go back, like, that's a lot of time.
It's a lot of time.
Wow.
And unfortunately, because of that geography, we're not really giving our kids a chance.
No.
Right. So again, that was one of the most difficult experiences in my life. But our family has come together and we're trying to make a positive out of it, you know, so that we can help pay it forward. That's, what my brother would have wanted us to do.
No, that's definitely something that's I would definitely support, and I hope to see out here soon, because there's a lot of kids out here. It's a lot of accidents out here as we know it. So it's just a matter of time for you're going to need that out here.
Yeah, vehicular accidents are the number one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I travel down the back roads. So I live in Lancaster. However, my kids go to school in Palmdale. So I'm constantly driving down 70th Street or even down 50th Street. Coming into Palmdale, and it's like, I don't know how many times people have gone onto my road, or my side, and just for whatever reason, thankfully, knock on wood, nothing's ever happened, but my kids are always saying like, oh my God, Mom, that car almost hit us. Oh my God, Mom, that car almost hit us. And who is going to come to our aid?
Right.
No one is. I mean, how often do people really travel on those roads? And just now thinking about that, it's just like, oh my God, from the time someone finds us or stops or whatever.
By the time they find you, and then they realize you need the care, and then we don't have the care, then they got to heliport. I mean, the time is gone, right?
Yeah.
We've got to give our kids a chance of survival, and we can only do that if there is accessible medical care locally.
Wow.
Dang, I know. You just opened my mind to something different.
No, like I said, I would have thought that was already something already in place out here.
Yeah, and unfortunately, people learn, like our family had to learn through experience. And I don't want anybody else to have to go through that experience. You shouldn't have to learn through tragedy that there's a lack of medical care. It should just be accessible, because it's a fundamental right.
Especially something like that.
Is a fundamental right.
Right.
For peds. I mean, you have Antelope Valley Hospital, and then the next one would be Henry Mayo, and I don't think that they have pediatrics trauma, right?
No.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
There's a lot to do. But it's all exciting. It's all for the good, right? Like we're going to save some kids' lives in the case that they get injured, but we're also going to build them up as they go through school.
So is that your main, like your biggest project you want to see happen out here? Or?
I've got a couple of them, but that's a big one. That's going to be a heavy lift. It's a long-term project.
What's your other ones?
Oh my goodness, we've got so many.
No, I mean what you personally want to do.
What do I want to do? Okay, so one of that I know that's been a long-standing one for the city of Palmdale, but I think that with our new council, we've got the energy to make it happen. I want to take back Palmdale Boulevard. We don't own it.
Oh, you know what?
I heard that.
We don't own it.
You know what? I did in my first season with Diana. I did a show with a good friend of mine who at the time was the general manager at the Palmdale DoubleTree. And she said she was at this networking thing, and she was talking to, one of the city council members back then. And she was like, "Hey, when are you guys going to clean up the boulevard?" And he was like, "Well, it's not up to us. It's up to the state because they don't own it."
It's Caltrans. It's owned by Caltrans, right?
Yeah.
So it's Caltrans jurisdiction. So we can't touch it. Essentially, so we can't beautify it. We can't do anything to it in terms of the road itself. We can't fill the potholes. We can't adjust the speed limits. So I want to acquire the right of way to Palmdale Boulevard. My district it encompasses almost all of the commercial sector of Palmdale Boulevard, from 15th to 40th on the east side, right? So we drive through it, and it's like we see empty storefronts, and we see dilapidated medians and sidewalks and roads that need help, and people who are not complying with the traffic laws. And then we also see a lot of truck traffic. So I want to create an alternative route for the trucks because one, they're impacting the roads and the infrastructure and traffic, but the emissions that those trucks are emitting they're awful. And in our community, people, COPD is a huge issue. Asthma is astronomical. I mean, if we can eliminate, this whole corridor of emissions in our community, we can do a lot of good for folks' health out here.
Yeah. I mean, I was out here when the Christmas parade used to take place on Palmdale Boulevard. And I even asked the chambers, like, why don't you guys ever do it on Palmdale Boulevard anymore? I remember it was why there were so many people, and they're like, because we don't own that.
Yeah, we can't beautify it. Like, can you envision, Palmdale Boulevard with the white lights during the seasons and, some beautiful medians and no huge, trucks, monopolizing the roads.
But do you see that as being a big fight that's going to take a long time?
I don't know that it'll take a long time. It's just going to take some convincing.
Because isn't it one of those streets? And I forgot what it's called, but it's like Santa Monica, like it's Route 66, right? It's owned by the state. So are they willing to give up that?
So they're willing to give it up if we assume the liability and if we assume the infrastructure improvement costs that are required of it. So we've got to do an initial. We did an assessment. I just researched it. We did an assessment about 3 years ago.
Okay.
But those costs are different now, and things have been completed in the interim. So I think we need new numbers to really evaluate it. But Caltrans is willing to give it to us if we're willing to assume a certain amount of responsibility over it. Okay. And so we've just got to identify the money in order to do that. And then we can take it back. It's our city's namesake. We should have control over it.
Should,
It runs through the heart of our city. It's Palmdale Boulevard. We should be able to control it.
Yeah.
Yeah, because, I'm a director at the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce, and every time I go over there, like, every time I have a meeting over there, and they say, meeting's at 5 o'clock, I'll be like, because of the traffic and the trucks, I'm like, oh my God. I ain't going over there during that time. Right there on Palmdale Boulevard and Sierra Highway, like, it gets so congested right there. It's like ridiculous.
Everybody has that same experience. Everybody avoids it.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be that. It should be a beautiful center of our city.
Yeah. Ever since I lived here, I kid you not, I'd rather go down Avenue R or go cut through Q and be like, I hate going down Palmdale Boulevard because of that. And all the lights. Oh my God.
Yeah, the lights.
But you would never catch me on Palmdale Boulevard.
I think that's the experience that's shared, by a lot of folks. But it shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be a corridor where people want to go to, right? There shouldn't be so many empty storefronts. If we can beautify it, we'll attract businesses and pedestrian activity and people, consumers who want to walk through these shopping centers and stimulate our economy. It should just be we should have recreational places like some green space. It should be a beautiful center of our city that we control. Right now, everybody just sort of throws their hands up, says, well, there's nothing we can do. Right. I think there's always something we can do.
That's true, because that was one of my classmates' project. They wanted to beautify Palmdale. However, they hit a lot of corners because of that. Or walls, I should say, because of that. They couldn't do it. I don't think the project really was executed, and it was kind of disappointing because there really is a lot of potential on Palmdale Boulevard. I mean, I live in Lancaster, so like looking at Lancaster Boulevard, it's nice. Like there's things happening, and I really hope for that for Palmdale.
Well, that's like what my friend was saying. Like she was saying that because the DoubleTree is right there by the freeway, and she was complaining about the homelessness and the crime right there. Oh, yeah. And they said when they called, like CHP was even like, well, we can't do nothing to them because we have to ask Caltrans for permission to even remove the homeless from, even like, on the free arm ramps and stuff. Howard Cho can't do none of this. The Caltrans give them permission to remove those people.
Right, because it's not their jurisdiction.
Right, but that's crazy though.
Right?
Like,
and when is Caltrans really going to come out?
Yeah. Right, they don't care.
Let us free.
But it's crazy. But there's a lot of roadblocks, like you said. There's a lot of roadblocks, but hopefully you guys can get that done. I mean, because I would like to see it.
Yeah,
I
Palmdale
like
does has
Palmdale.
potential. It sincerely does. Even when we moved out here, we moved out from Echo Park in '92, and I remember when we would still go back. I live right down the street from Belmont High School, so yeah, it's pretty active. And I would always tell like the kids in the neighborhood, be like, yeah, you know, at least Palmdale, I can wake up and not hear all the, you know, ghetto bird and, you know, just wake up so peacefully. I really embraced that growing up. I am very thankful that I was able to experience that versus, you know, growing up in Los Angeles. And not only that, but so many people have moved here, and we should be staying locally instead of having to go down the hill.
Yeah.
Just to have dinner, just to enjoy
That's it.
yourselves.
It's really unfortunate.
You know?
86% of the city of Palmdale's residents work outside of the city
Oh,
of
yeah.
Palmdale. So they're spending hours on end commuting to and from. That's not just an impact on your checkbook. That's an impact on your quality of life,
Yeah.
your time with your kids. It is, you know, your mental
Yeah.
health, everything.
You know, it was a point where when I was traveling to Studio City, when I had my office in Studio City, I wouldn't even get on the freeway to come out here. I would just have dinner out there. And so all that money, every night I was having dinner out there. And then I would come home around 9, 10 o'clock at night, go straight to bed. Like, and I know a lot of families are doing that because they're waiting for traffic to die down. So they spending all their money out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that money should be spent here.
Here. Yeah,
Local
exactly.
dollars, local businesses, comes right back to you, right? In terms of the city services that we provide. If you spend it here, it recycles back into your neighborhoods.
Yeah, that's why I'm also excited about the green screen that you said is going to provide work and employment for families to stay here, to live here, because a lot of families are divided. I mean, I experienced, you know, we had a lot of house parties at people's houses. One, they're big, their parents are not home, and even if their parents found out, it's not till like another hour till they get home and kick us out. You know, but it's the truth.
I mean, that's real, yeah.
It's the reality, unfortunately, of the Antelope Valley, of our kids, and why our kids are just wilding out. You know, because their parents are too tired to deal with them
Too
by the
tired
time
or
they get
busy
home.
or juggling 2 or 3 jobs just
Yeah.
to
Oh
to
my
make
God.
ends meet. You know, it's not to their fault.
Yeah.
Right. They're trying their best to provide for their families, but you know they can't be there all the time. And now the temptations are real for kids. The fentanyl crisis is real. And you know the fact that this fentanyl is being, you know, they've got Skittles or they're calling them Skittles, and they're colorful and they're rainbow. I mean, it's really a scary thing. And kids that are good kids, you know, good students, just, you know, experimenting, not knowing really what they're doing.
Yeah.
You know, they go to an after school, you know, somebody's house after school, and they eat one of these quote unquote Skittles, and you know, within minutes their lives are snuffed out prematurely, and that's awful.
Well, not only that, but the marijuana, the pens. My daughter goes, I hate going to the restroom, Mom. I'd rather just wait and hold it, because as soon as I walk in the restroom, Mom, it smells like weed. And I mean, back when we were in school, you know, at least you knew who was smoking. They would come in and it stunk, and
you can smell it.
Exactly. You know, it'd be like, I know why you're late, you know, kind of deal. But now it's like, no, I'm going to go on a break, come back like nothing. And you see it, and it's just so heartbreaking, because it's like, give yourself a chance, kid. But because it's so accessible and having nothing to look forward to, my mom's not going to get here till about 8, you know, I'll be okay. Let me just, you know, just do it. So that's why I think I'm so passionate about, like, let's get things for these kids.
Yeah,
Like,
let's build up our programs at our parks,
Yes.
our after school programs at our parks and the recreational centers. Let's, you know, I was talking about like go-kart, you know, and movies and all. We're trying to do a lot of things, and maybe we can give them options.
I mean, they took mulligans away. So where do families go now? I thought it was such a cliche, because I think what they're building now, it's I think for child care or foster care or social work or something like that. I was like, how do you guys take a place where families would spend quality time together, where broken families come to figure it out. I go, that's such cliche. Like, I really hope that we can build things like that.
So we've got to do two things, right? We've got to create a safety net for the families
Right.
that need the support system. But we've also got to create programs to prevent them from breaking in the first place, to your point.
Exactly. I mean, Palmdale or Antelope Valley, I should say, has the highest population of foster kids. It's like, let's do something different.
And so then where do they go when they age out of the system? Do we offer proper, support network for them, to be able to transition on their own?
Yeah. Like I was expressing to Officer or Captain Schaefer, I always want to call him Officer, Captain Schaefer, that when we were in City Terrace, the sheriff used to have a program at the park. And then the kids used to come there after school. So it was kind of like a homework club. But then they would go out into field trips. But however, at that time, my son was too young. But I used to think to myself, I can't wait till, he's old enough to be a part of that. And one day they were just gone. And I was just like, we really, really need to keep these programs alive. These kids, not only that, have to build these relationships with the law enforcement, to think they're not just here to arrest you. They're also here to support you,
Community policing, they've got to have the trust. And right now they're sort of polarized. And the perception is that law enforcement are, they're all bad people and they're out to get get everybody in the community. But I don't think that that's the case. I think when you go into law enforcement, you want to help and you want to create a safe community for folks. There are always going to be bad apples in any industry, right? In politics, in everything. But for the most part, law enforcement, they put their lives on the line to help. And then when you ask them if they want to help, if they want to participate in a community program to help work with kids and to mentor kids, like the Explorer program or what, they're all in, and the relationships, the bonds that they create with these kids are long-standing. There have been, I've heard stories of, kids that started at very young age, like 12, 13, 14, and still are in contact with their mentors when they were, brought into Explorer type programs.
Yeah.
So, when we had Captain Schaefer on the show, I was talking to him about bringing back the softball league.
Oh, yeah.
Because,
that's right. Yeah.
Even though I love a lot of the programs that they're doing, but like how you were saying, we got to kind of go to their element. Like, you got to go to their element. You can't expect them to come to your element. Because like you said, a lot of people, especially I grew up in the hood, so we all have that stigma of law enforcement is bad, right? And they're all, again, bad apples in every industry, no matter what. And that's why I always tell people, I don't believe in racism. I don't believe in that. I just believe in ignorant people. Right? It's people, we always try to make things racial, like so-and-so this, so-and-so that, right? It's not about racial. It had nothing to do with no one's race, because every race has bad people. Every race has good people, right? It's just ignorant people, right? And that's my point of view. But, going back to the softball league, you got to bring them, you got to go to their element. Make it fun for them. Don't always try to give them a lecture or a speech, right? Because, growing up, and you probably don't know my story, but my mother was murdered at the age of 5 months by a LAPD officer. So I could have easily grown up hating the police, but I don't, because I have family members that went into law enforcement. So I have a different perspective. I don't believe in, I'm not going to blame this big organization off one person's action. I'm not going to put it on the whole organization. And I think that's where people, again, how we were talking about earlier, people judge people. People judge organizations based on one bad apple. But, we have to go to their element, making it fun for the kids. Show them that, hey, we do care. We do want, support you, and whatever we need to do. Yeah. So he said he's got to, look into that.
Yeah, having to cook out with them.
Yeah,
although
make it fun.
I applaud the Palmdale and Lancaster Sheriff Station. They're actually going to have I think it's like a workshop. I sent it to you the other day. Remember, I was like, I signed up for it. Yeah. So it's kind of, I'm always trying to get in there.
You signing up for everything.
Yes.
She wanted me to sign up for it. That's another 8-month course or something.
Yeah, I think it's 6 months.
She booking your calendar all the way out for the next 2 years.
But again, to my point, it's get involved. Let them know
right.
your perspective. You know, how do you feel? You know, how can we, build a better community? It's not that big. It's not LA. It's not Los Angeles where things get lost. I mean, some of the sheriffs, you're going to see them at the store. You're going to see them at church. Their kids probably go to school with your kids, so why not be that bridge? So, I mean, in high school, I was also part of the Project 2000 where I was working with the sheriff. It was Officer Rubio. He's a community service in Lancaster Sheriff Station. And that, again, also stayed with me. How I never feared them because of that. I was involved with them, doing things with them. And as kids, they should be able to have that experience, you have someone to call on, especially when there's so much things going on. I mean, my son goes, Mom, we were leaving snack and these girls just start, a fight happened so fast that he's like, it looked like they were dancing the way they were moving. But he goes, this happens every single day. And our conversation with my husband was man, they should have police officers at the schools, because then they would think about it. Do I really want to put hands on another child? But there's just so much trauma with these kids right now, so much anger, so much depression, that how do they channel? Even if a girl is not even looking at them, are you looking at me a certain way? And then boom, it happens. But if they were to build these relationships with also our community leaders, with the sheriffs, or just themselves finding someone that, can relate with them, can you only imagine what our future will be like? Not only that, but our community, the Antelope Valley, be that example, be that change.
Yeah, our kids shouldn't be exposed to, violence they shouldn't be immune anymore. I think they're immune now because they see it so often. They're like, oh yeah, we just had one fight, or we just had another fight. Yeah. It was no big deal. That should not be their experience. It should be the off chance that there is a fight, in school, because school is supposed to be a place of safety, security, and education and uplifting. Not a place where you're in fear. When you go to lunch, which corner of the yard you're going to sit at, because you might cross somebody's quote unquote territory or sit at the wrong table, and that may put you in a bad spot and get you into some trouble. That shouldn't be their experience. We should create safe spaces for our kids.
No, and schools and parks as I was growing up, was always a child's safe place.
Right, safe heaven.
Safe heaven. Now it seems like it's not, and we got to take that back.
No.
Or what else do they have?
Right.
Oh yeah, we were at the dog park on Avenue S and with my daughter, and we had gone to Chick-fil-A, and we're like, okay, we're gonna take our dog, and have a little picnic. We couldn't, because there was two people there just smoking and hanging out, and I was just like, I told my daughter, you know what, we should probably just go. I don't feel safe. There's not a lot of people around. Let's just head out. And it's so open, and, people really just don't care, and especially about the kids. If that's what you want to do and that's how you feel, why don't you go home? You know what I mean? Right. Why don't you hang out in front of your porch? If you want to be so liberating and
it's
not
a community
care.
space. It should be accessible to all sectors of the community, specifically the kids. I mean, that's what green space is supposed to be for. Right. So people can get out of the constructs of their homes and sort of be one with nature and be part of the community, and see other neighbors enjoying the same space as they are.
Yeah, because when you confine a child into, just their element, and not saying it's bad, but they don't get to experience anything else. Then that's what they're going to grow up with, that one element, whatever that is, right? Yeah. But you got to get out. You got to socialize with other people and have a better understanding of different people, not just your people.
When I was a little girl, our house was so small. All of our birthday parties, everybody in my family's birthday parties, were always at the park, and they were safe spaces back then. Right. Now, unfortunately, families are not wanting to celebrate, special occasions or have just cookouts or whatever at the park, because they're concerned. Like you said, you don't want to go out there and then potentially expose your kids or yourselves to to danger or to the bad element, and that shouldn't be the case.
You know, my grandmother raised me, and she used to kick me and my sister out in the morning and tell us, don't come back until the streetlights come on.
Until the streetlights come on.
Like that's how we know how to come home, right? But we used to ride our bike, like me and my friends, we used to ride our bikes. I grew up in Inglewood, from Inglewood all the way down to Redondo Beach. Like every day. That was, and speaking of obesity, right? Like that was our exercise. Like we was always on our bikes, riding through different neighborhoods, and it was cool. We was just having fun.
Yeah. When you drive home, do you ever notice kids outside playing?
Oh no, they're not out. I wouldn't even let. I mean, my daughter's 20. I'm going to be 22 now. But even in the past year when she was younger, I wouldn't let her go out because it's scary. There's so many unknowns out there that it's not the same as when we were younger. I too used to, climb trees and come home. As long as you come home when the lights turn on, you're good. You knew, because if you didn't, somebody was gonna hold me directly accountable.
It's so true. I remember like getting everyone out of the house. Oh, can so we're gonna start a soccer game, a kickball. We're gonna go ride bikes. We're gonna do so many things. But that actually experience happened here in Palmdale. So I would tell my kids all about this and growing up. And when we moved here, they're like, Mom, what happened?
Yeah, where are the kids? They're not playing out in the yard like they used to, like you said.
No, they don't.
Because times have changed, and it's really unfortunate.
I remember we knew, even if we wasn't paying attention to the street lights, it took one parent just to yell their kid name, and everybody be like, "Oh, gotta go home."
Because you're having so much fun.
Yeah, those was fun times. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wish our kids would have experienced that. But.
Yeah, that's what I said it last time on the show, that my grandmother used to call me La Inventora, because I would always come up with all types of things like, all right, we're going to do this. We're going to run this game. We're going to, and now it saddens me that some kids are not even creative to do that. You know, they're inside playing games or on social media, and that's why the cyberbullying and just so much depression. It's like, man,
I'm not a fan of social media. I think it causes so much depression and
it is
anxiety.
Because of the and that's where actually a lot of the drugs are coming in, because they're trying to fit in because they got to get the likes. They
got to get a million likes, and if somebody's cyberbullying, or they see everybody having the time of their lives because they're posting these wonderful photos that are oftentimes photoshopped and not real, they think their life is terrible because in contrast they're seeing all these people posting these wonderful experiences, but that's not reality.
They're comparing themselves to people where I believe in, like, it's always you versus you, like, and that's what I learned in my mindset training over the years. Like, it's me versus me. I don't compare myself to other people.
No.
Like, but kids, they compare themselves to so many other people, and they don't realize that the influencers out there, like the work that they put in to even do that, this is a lot of work.
Yeah. I mean, for example, look at Black China. I just happened to go on my personal page and I noticed that she's removing everything, all types of implants, and she had like this silicone in her, in her butt, and she was just like, oh my God, like it took them so long, like excessive hours just to remove it, and removing the fillers from her face and trying to be natural. And it's like, well, we should have been doing that from the gate.
Right. Yeah.
You know what I mean? But some of these girls don't understand, like, you're beautiful the way you are. Embrace it.
Exactly. Yeah. Fillers are a new advent.
Yeah.
Humans are not. We're all born in God's light, and you are beautiful just the way you are.
You was made that way for a reason.
So true.
Like,
yeah. So come on, Palmdale, let's get these kids back out there. Let's, give them something to look forward to, especially the weekend. And like, it's spring break for my kids, and it's like, what are we doing? And although my son's like, yeah, I think we're gonna go to the movies, and it's like, okay, and then what? And that's it, Mom. Because really that's all there is for high schoolers. What are they supposed to do? And even at the mall, it's like, a few sketchy folks. Like, yeah, I don't think so. Like, or we're going to go down the hill to Six Flags. Do something like that. So I really, really hope that there could be other things. I continue to say it and speak it into existence. Let's get the skating rink back,
want that skating rink,
up and cracking. Yes, okay, girl. I'm
gonna take note of that.
It's like, this woman will not just shut up already. Give her the skating rink, but
you're gonna get it.
It was a time of our lives. Like, oh my God, at the skating ring. It was so much fun when it was on Avenue I, across from Jethawk Stadium. And it, like, all the parties and the things we look forward to, and of course the boys, and you know, it's like, and my mom's Hispanic, be like, solo van a ver hembra. Yeah, mom, it's just all girls, mom. Like,
Right.
yeah, right.
No, I'm not encouraged. I don't want my daughter hanging out at the skating rink if there's going to be a bunch of boys.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's not only that, but being social, figuring yourself out, you know, and creating those moments and memories, and not only that, but for parents, I know you probably like to skate, don't you?
I did. I used to go to Road on Wheels.
You know what I'm saying?
You know,
I used to do the Skateland.
Skateland, Skateland.
But it's fun. It's a healthy, safe activity.
Exactly.
And it really, I mean, they've got music playing and they have skating games, and it really is sort of a community center. Yeah. So rest assured, the city council, we just had a council retreat, and we were identifying our goals. One of the top goals was our youth.
Yeah.
What are we going to do for our kids? So know that we are focused on it. We're coming up with a bunch of ideas. What's reasonable? What's not? What's actually, you know, feasible in the short term, but also long term development. What can we do, and how can we map out some real opportunities for our kids?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We really, really need it, you know, and even.
Well, count me in on anything with kids, because like I said, I've been working with kids since I was 12 years old, and kids with special needs is really a passion of mine. So
that's a beautiful thing. I was just talking to one of my colleagues on the council. We're hoping, I'm reaching out to some folks, maybe establishing the Antelope Valley Special Olympics.
Please, you know what? So, you know, I was talking about tomorrow, I have a game. I don't know how I'm going to do it. So, because my son has cerebral palsy. So I've been working with special needs kids since I was 12. But right now I'm one of the coaches for the AYSO Special Needs Valencia League. So I've been doing that for like 8 years now. So tomorrow's our first game. I don't know how I'm gonna be there.
You got this.
You got
but
this.
I love working with kids, especially with kids with special needs.
Yeah, so we're gonna get you into our planning coordinating group on that.
Absolutely, I would be there.
Stop.
So what's big? The next big thing for you?
The next big thing.
Yeah, coming your mayor pro temp right now. Like, what is your like ultimate goal? Like, where are you? What's your ladder? Where are you trying to go to?
I don't know. I sort of take one day at a time, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to sort of think too far ahead of myself. I want to be able to deliver for the community in the position that I'm in now. I was blessed, and I feel super honored to be able to represent a neighborhood that's never had a representative before. My district, CD5, didn't exist ever. I'm the first representative in that area. And when I used to knock on doors, people, oh my, mija, pase, come in. And they were, what do you mean? You care about what we think? You want to, we get a representative too. So I want to be able to deliver for those folks, be the voice that they never had. So one day at a time there. But on the professional level, we just got notice that one of our voting rights case is going to be scheduled for oral argument before the California Supreme Court in the next few months. So that's one huge event that's on the horizon that I'm looking forward to. But yeah, I mean, look, whenever we make plans, God laughs at us, right? Every time I try to tell myself when I was younger, oh, I'm going to do this by this timeline. Yeah, right. So I just sort of go with the flow and follow the path that God sets forth for me.
Okay. Well, that's a great answer. I like that.
Yeah. Well, I definitely applaud
You're
you.
present.
Not only for that.
I like that. You're present. I like
Yeah.
that.
I was going to say, but not only that, but being a Latina woman, you know, and standing up and representing, and especially we're still in March, Women's Month.
That's
Yes.
right.
So,
I always say, si se puede, but I say, she se puede. Yes, we can. Because
Absolutely.
we will. As the first Latina ever elected to the Palmdale City Council, it is really an honor. I mean, it's a long time coming, but we're here now.
Do you know Darlene Trevino?
I haven't met her, but
Oh,
I've seen her. I've
you know what?
seen her signs everywhere.
No, you know what? You should have a conversation with her. You and her have very similar stories. Because for her, when she was going through law school, she was pregnant, and she was going through that whole thing you went through. So she's been on the show, and she's a good friend of mine. You should listen to her story.
I'd love to.
You guys have very similar stories.
Yeah, we've got to band together.
No, absolutely.
We need. It takes a village, and we can't do anything alone. So when we can reach out to friends who've been there and can offer sort of a helping hand or just a listening ear, I mean that helps.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Congratulations, by the way. We didn't say this in the top of the show.
That's right.
No, congratulations to you too. You guys have been doing this podcast for a minute. That's amazing.
I'm excited for the next season, which is coming up in a couple of weeks.
Well,
Still waiting on your headshots.
No, I thought we agreed you were going to get the other one with me cheering. Oh, man.
Not agreed.
So I'm not going to get away.
She wanted me to use her headshot where she was at the gala with the drink in her hand.
No drink.
It's an orange juice.
She's trying to turn this into a different type of show.
Cheers to you.
It's about the kids, remember?
Right?
No, well, just a sneak peek. We have a little something that we're working on. And we're actually going to be teaching kids to do what we're doing.
Yeah, podcast, yeah.
Congratulations, really.
So we are putting together a workshop, and we're going to teach teens pretty much to do what we're doing. Although I initially would want this to go, this opportunity to go to our high schools, maybe having at least, 2 to 4, I would say, although because it's not a big space, but speaking into existence, we might get blessed with a bigger space, right?
No, yeah. I mean, it's important to me because again, I've always worked with kids since I was a child, and I believe in giving back, especially to the youth. Yeah. But doing the podcast workshop, it allows us to give our children a voice. Because I feel like our children don't have enough platforms where, even though they have social media, but I don't count that because they really need somewhere where they can actually talk and not just try to fit in somewhere and do cool stuff. Like here, they're actually going to use their voices. Kind of similar how what you were saying. That's why I love about what you were saying about doing the city council thing for them, like the mock-up. Like that's incredible because now they get to use their voice, their opinions on things that's going on in the community. I love that.
Yeah. So that's something that's
super exciting.
Yeah.
Well, good luck. Let us know if you need any help.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
We support that.
I got that on camera and on tape right here.
Okay, look. I told you I'm a woman of my word. You let me know.
I love it.
Yeah. Not only that, but can you only imagine, I had my son here one day. He was like, Mom, I'll come with you. And he posted it and he goes, Mom, do you know how many people are commenting? Like, hey, what are you doing on a podcast? Because this is the now. This is the next thing. People are not really listening to the radio anymore as much. It's podcasts.
Because radio is so censored. Like on podcasts, at least you can say what you want. Do what say. Pretty much say what you want. Like it's not censored about you got these big sponsors. You can't say this, can't do this. Like I don't believe it. Like we were just talking about this yesterday. Like. We are such a neutral zone.
Yeah.
Like we're just trying to give a positive space for people to get to know you, get to know their businesses, what they believe in, and just keep it positive without bashing people or bashing anything.
And for the kids, this is a safe space too, right? We were just talking about that. It doesn't have to be a park or green space.
Right.
No.
This is a safe space. If they feel that they can voice their opinions safely, and not be judged, that's a beautiful thing.
No.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we're giving them something to do. Keeping them out of trouble and just something to look forward to.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Yay, can't wait. So that's in the works. Yes. With my headshot.
we're gonna get you a new one.
I was like, I look good. There you go. He's like, we're not doing
March
that,
17th, right?
Anyway, although he threatened if I don't get one before the end of the month, he's taking it from my social media.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go on Instagram and just grab one. So.
You need veto power on that.
I know, right? No, you will not.
See, the great thing about my job because I do all the graphics and stuff. So
there you go. Remove the drink.
One day she gonna wake up and be like, huh.
She's like,
she gonna be driving down the street, all of a sudden looking at the billboard. Oh my God!
Oh hell no!
What did he do?
You couldn't at least edit some stuff.
I mean, there gotta be a filter for that,
right?
That would be hilarious if you was really driving down the street and saw your billboard.
Oh my God, Mike! No,
I'm telling you,
Mike, no.
Look, he's putting it out in existence.
No. I like to surprise people.
I don't.
But that's why. But that's why I'm giving you an opportunity to give me a film.
Not all surprises are good surprises.
Okay, that part.
Anyway, let's get to our crusher goals.
All right. So we always do this at the end, your crusher goals. And today it says, great people do things before they are ready. They do things before they know they can do it. Doing what you're afraid of, getting out of your comfort zone, taking risk, that's what life is. And I never get tired of saying I just flip them, but for whatever reason, they always line up with our guests. And I think that really does line up with you.
That really speaks to a lot of what I've done in my life.
Yeah.
You don't know until you jump in, right?
Exactly.
And if you're scared, it just means you care.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And
Well, I
you
always
want
say
to do good.
your dreams are supposed to scare you. If they don't scare you, your dreams are not big enough.
Yeah. Like Monsters Inc. We scare because we care.
Oh, I love it. There you go.
So what type of words of wisdom do you have for us, Andrea?
Words of wisdom.
Yeah,
Come on.
drop that knowledge, girl.
Or what do you want to say to the community? What last words you want to say to the community?
Yes.
I just want to say that there is a bright future ahead for the city of Palmdale. We've got new leadership on our council for the first time. It is Women's Month. For the first time, we have a woman mayor, a woman mayor pro tem, a woman city manager, the 3 leading ladies. We've got different direction. We are focused on our kids. We've got so many big projects on the horizon. We want to build jobs. Again, the future is bright. And so just participate. We got it. We can't do it ourselves. We need to hear from the community. What do you want? How can we serve you? We're not here to serve ourselves. We're here to serve the community and serve our residents and our kids. And so we need to hear from you. So participate in government. Let us know. Send us emails. Reach out.
I'm going to reach out next Wednesday. I'm going to sign up, be like, look, let's talk about this skating rink. No, I'm just Rhonda, come on, Rhonda.
Hey, I love it. I love the fact that this new city council is, the top 3 ladies. You guys are going to kill it. I know it. I can see the change. But I've always said that. I've always liked the city of Palmdale because I feel like you guys are always in the community. And that's where I met you. I met you at an event. Like I always tell Captain Schaefer, I always see him in the community. It's one thing I love about Palmdale city officials. They are always in the community talking to people and trying to make a difference. So when you talk to people and say, you got to make the first step or whatever, the city of Palmdale really does that. They are out there. Yeah. So you guys go out there and talk to them. It's just a simple conversation. Like they're there, they're out there. That's what I love about the city of Palmdale.
Yeah, we're willing to listen, right? At least I am. But I know my colleagues are. We're so excited. Every single one of them, I talk to them, they have their passion projects. Our council member, Austin Bishop, is the visionary for the film stage. He's got so many wonderful ideas in terms of how we build that up. But, Eric Olson wants to do all kinds of good stuff for veterans and for, in terms of filling the digital divide so that our kids every kid can have access to the resources online. Everybody's got their priority projects, but we're all willing to listen, and we all really are working together for the betterment of the city.
Right.
I love that.
Love it.
Yay.
And we are out of here. Yes. Thank you again, Andrea, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
I know.
Anytime. This is a platform and a safe haven for you as well. Anytime you want to come on here and talk about anything.
This was fun. When we got when we're able to deliver some projects, I'll come back and we'll talk about it.
Absolutely. And we want to be a part of it too, because we are all about growing our community and helping our community.
Yeah. I know. Actually, shout out to Knight High School. I'm heading to Palmdale High. My son plays for the baseball team, and they have a game actually at 3:15. So
all right,
that's where I'm heading after this, right?
Nice.
So
where are you going after that?
Palmdale High.
No, after that.
Oh, after that, I have to go finish balloons at home.
And then what you doing?
And then I'm going to hopefully get to your house to hang out.
Hopefully.
You know
that's
what?
where he was getting.
Yeah, I know, right?
I'm like, no, my son texted me actually as I was getting ready. Mom, you're going to come to my game, right? Yes, son, I will.
But you did say they're leaving tonight?
No, tomorrow they're gonna go out to I think like San Bernardino. There's like a racing thing happening. So my niece is gonna come pick them up.
But you can stop by for a few minutes. You ain't gonna stay all night.
Yeah, no, I have the veterans event. I actually am setting up the balloons. I'm gonna be there at 5:30 in the morning. So.
I know, but you can still stop by for a few minutes.
We'll we're old heads.
I know.
I go to sleep by like 9:30, 10.
Girl, wish I lived in
I
your
know,
life.
right?
Yeah. Oh, I'm very disciplined.
Hey, there's no way I'm going to sleep before the sun come up.
I gotta take a
There's
nap.
no way.
But you got babies at home. I mean, well, not babies, but young ones that you're running around,
Yeah.
still going to all the games. And
Yeah, that's
it's
what
a
I'm
lot.
saying. After I disconnect here, I have to now connect into mom and baseball, and after that, then I'm a business owner, so I have to fulfill my balloon
Like she's got
needs. Yeah,
a lot of hats. She's an
Yeah.
entrepreneur.
Yes,
She's
ma'am.
it switches to mommy role.
I'm your co-host. I'm worth 30 minutes.
No, we're gonna show up. I made it a point.
Okay.
Yes. No, we're gonna show
If
up.
not, you know I'm gonna talk about you next
I
Friday.
know.
So I'm-
Catherine, what is it?
What?
Catherine, who was I the other day with Mark?
You wasn't. That wasn't
Kathy?
Catherine.
Oh no, I think it was something like that. But yes.
Yeah,
No, I'm gonna
exactly.
show up.
All right.
I will.
He's gonna hold you to it, girl.
I
So
am.
You know I am. Oh, I'm gonna talk about her.
I get no slack.
And you know he's got a platform to talk.
I know.
I'll come here on a Tuesday and just talk about
You're
you.
such
To make a whole show about it.
Hey, no cyberbullying here.
Right.
It's not cyberbullying. It's not cyberbullying.
See what you did there?
It's
Went full
facts.
circle.
It's facts. It's not bullying. It's facts.
No, we're gonna come out. It's St. Patrick's Day.
There you
Exactly.
go.
Gotta have a drink. At least one
Yeah.
drink.
Are you gonna have some green beer? Oh,
I
come
mean,
on now.
I can go buy some color stuff.
There you go. I'm only coming if you have green beer. No, I'm just
I got
joking.
I got a green cup.
There you go. All right.
No, we out of here. Thank you
Yes,
again.
Thank you,
I
Miss Andrea.
Thank you for having me. Really,
appreciate you. What you got big plans for this weekend?
I've got 6 events tomorrow.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Tonight I'm doing an event for veterans as well. I'm doing
Okay.
the morning. We're doing Zumbaton with Salva. I think
Oh,
that's
okay.
at 9 a.m. It's a women's sort of event, which should be exciting. And then doing the vet event immediately following, and then the women's symposium and a couple of other
Yeah.
events to follow. So my
Yeah.
weekend is full of fun community stuff.
Well, shout
Yeah.
out to Salva because we had them on the show a
that's
couple of months
right,
ago. Yeah, so
yes.
we had them over here on the show a couple of months ago.
Yeah, they're doing some good stuff.
They are. They're doing some amazing stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, excited about that.
All right, we out of here. I got to go ready for my party. So
Hey,
Thank you.
Everyone be well.
be well.